Happy Friday, February 7th, 2025. It's quiet out there for most of us across the continental United States, but it sure wasn't last night in Kentucky and Tennessee. We had some decent storms. Check it out. Lots of wind and hail reports last night in southern and southeastern Kentucky, East Tennessee. We had a lot of tornado warnings last night. There was a moment where there were 4 or 5 tornado warnings at once. I know downtown Knoxville was under a tornado warning at one point. It got a little wild out there. Yeah, just a little bit of a surprise overperforming slight risk last night. And the good news is the system that caused that is completely out of our hair. The ice is done for now in the central Appalachian area. The storms are done in the south for a brief period of time. Now we're going to go on to the next storm, which is prompting winter storm warnings in California, Oregon, and winter storm warnings, watches, and advisories all the way over through the plains into Wisconsin. Now we'll see this fill in to Michigan later, and then of course all the way over to southern New England as well. Let's take a look at what the radar could look like later today, Friday around 1 p.m. We're going to see heavy snow showers in southeastern Idaho, western portions of Wyoming. Lighter snow is going to be breaking out into the border region between southern portions of South Dakota and northern portions of North Dakota. This is all going to come together quite quickly and produce intermittent blizzard conditions around Bismarck here by 8 p.m. tonight. It's not going to be a really heavy snow. There's going to be some winds, and it is going to accumulate pretty quickly because it's quite cold out there. But as the storm goes farther east, it's going to get stronger, okay? Once it starts snowing moderately in the Twin Cities area, for example, around 3 a.m. on Saturday, that's when the storm's going to start dropping a little bit more snow. And also, that's when the rain's going to pick up a little bit over here in the Ohio Valley. So another shot of some thunderstorms and some rain down here in Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, and Illinois. Nothing severe, but definitely something to keep an eye on. As we go into Saturday around 8 a.m., we're going to start off as snow over here in northern Virginia. We might have a little shot of sleet and ice in the mountains as well. Snow is going to be working into Michigan at this time. And watch how everything comes together here later in the day on Saturday. We're going to have another round of ice around Detroit. This could be freezing rain, producing a glaze of ice that could cause problems on the road, intermittent power outages. Same thing down there in central Pennsylvania. Maybe even some heavier freezing rain over here in northwestern portions of Pennsylvania. We really got to watch the freezing rain threat, I think, right in this region once again on Saturday for maybe a few problems. But the snow is going to be farther north, okay? The oven mitt of Michigan, you guys are going to get a decent amount of snow out of this. Western New York, upstate New York, you guys are going to get some snow, especially if you're right off the lake there. In the Adirondacks, also, we expect to see over a foot of snow in some places. It's going to start off as all snow in Connecticut and Rhode Island. It's going to be snowing heavily in Boston by midnight on Sunday. And of course, we're going to be all snow in the White and Green Mountains up into the Berkshires as well. And then this is going to be out of our hair by Sunday, February 9th at 7 a.m. It's going to be moving out of here, and we will just be left with some snow on the ground. How much snow? Well, it's going to start off light. Remember, it's getting stronger the farther east it goes. If you're in southern South Dakota, northern North Dakota, we're talking about 1 inch to 3 inches. A couple places might see 4 or 5 inches, especially in southeastern portions of South Dakota. Once you get into Minnesota, things pick up a little bit. I think a 4 to 6 inch snow total is a good call for anybody in the darker blues there. Once you get over here closer to the Twin Cities, though, 6-7 inches is possible. Minneapolis, over towards Eau Claire, Wisconsin, you guys could also see some higher snow amounts. Moving even farther east into Michigan, up there near Gaylord, Michigan, I think 2 to 5 inches of snow is possible. There's going to be a streak across north central Michigan that gets anywhere from 7 to 8 inches of snow. Southern Ontario, there's going to be a streak that gets 4 to 6 inches. And then you can see things really start to uptick again once we get over here closer to the east coast. Once again, the Adirondacks, I think that a good 6 to 8 inches of snow is possible. If you're off of the lake here, I think there's going to be a decent amount of people that get a foot or more of snow. This is a little bit less than what we were talking about yesterday, but as always, remember, the closer that we get to the storm, the more clear things become. And what's becoming more clear is that this is just going to have a little bit less energy than we originally thought. It's still going to be probably one of the more impactful snowstorms of the year so far for a lot of people getting hit by it. White Mountains, Green Mountains, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow is going to be possible. Boston, it looks like 6 to 9 inches is what I'm looking at for you guys. A little bit less than that in Connecticut and Rhode Island. And remember, as we said yesterday, New York City, you're going to be right on the line between rain and snow. I think ice might actually be a bigger problem there, but still, 1 inch 2 inches of snow is going to be possible by Sunday. Speaking of ice, we do have some ice accumulation problems to speak of here. If you're in Indiana or Ohio, there's a slight chance that we get a glaze of ice. If you're anywhere in Pennsylvania, same thing. But in the mountains over here from West Virginia up into Maryland and into south central portions of Pennsylvania, there's another chance that a few places get more than a 1/4 inch of ice, and that can cause some power outages and some very dangerous travel conditions. Make sure you're prepared for that. During the height of the storm over here in the Northeast, it is going to cause moderate impacts on the roads. So get ready in the New York City metro. Even though we're not expecting a lot of snow on the ground, it's still going to cause slick roads. It's still going to cause some problems out there as you go up into Connecticut, Rhode Island as well. Most of the state of Massachusetts is going to be having some travel problems, especially around Boston there. So keep that in mind with our winter storm severity index showing lots of moderate impacts out there. Now, moving right along, we've got to talk about the next storms. The title of this video is A Train of Snowstorms is Coming. What I just showed you is the engine and all of the rest of the cars. I don't even know where the caboose is, but they're still coming. So as we get into the day 4 probabilities here, this is where we might see some significant winter precipitation as we go from Monday into Tuesday, all right? This is from Kansas all the way over to Virginia. We've got a very small chance of some snow or maybe some ice out here from Missouri through Kentucky into West Virginia. So that's a signal that we're watching. Watch what happens as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, we've got a very strong signal here, which has been quite consistent. I've been talking about this for a while now. From the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia up through the I-95 corridor, up into New Jersey and into the New York City metro, we've got a 50% probability of seeing significant winter precipitation February 11th and February 12th. And then watch what happens as I go into the 13th. What's that? We've got a whole nother storm that is going to potentially be causing problems from Missouri and Arkansas all the way up into the central Appalachians once again, and even all the way back here on the day 7 outlook. We've got potential significant winter precipitation possible in the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, back into the Ohio Valley. And then look at all this over here. We've got another big system to watch coming into the West Coast and into the Rockies as well. So things are really starting to get quite active as far as winter weather goes in your more traditional places that you would expect this time of year. So if you're tired of snow, I'm sorry to tell you, it's nowhere near over. Let's take a look at those ensembles. Here's our storm that's coming through today and tomorrow. Remember, it's going to be at its strongest right here about 10 p.m. tomorrow night, dropping some ice in Pennsylvania, heavy snow in New York, Massachusetts, those areas. It gets out of our hair, and then all eyes are going to go to right in here. Snow, rain, ice again is going to be a big problem, and then another one right after that, and then who knows, maybe another one right after that. I mean, if I pull this out, the train just doesn't stop. Once again, I don't know where the caboose is. But something else to talk about here is not just the snow and the ice that we're concerned about. Notice on the southern side, on the warm side of all these storms, we have a significant amount of rain. This is going to come in the form of heavy flooding rains and also potentially some severe weather. Here's our projected 7-day precipitation from the Weather Prediction Center. Look here, 4 to maybe 8 inches of rain possible from southeastern Kentucky down into eastern Tennessee, northern Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. I'm really concerned about flooding this week in this area right here, but the heavy rains are going to be felt from eastern Texas all the way up into portions of the Outer Banks, up into the Delmarva area. Also, plenty of heavy rain expected in California, as most of these storms are starting off as atmospheric rivers that are just dumping tons of moisture into the Sierra and the Cascades over the next 7 days. And that leads us to the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. We're all wet. Okay, we're all well above average expected here, especially in the 2 hot zones that I was just talking about over here in the southeast and over here along the west coast. So we're just going to have storms coming over the United States over and over again like a train, dropping tons of precipitation. Some of us are going to get snow, some of us are going to get ice, some of us are going to get rain. Follow along if you want to figure out who you are in those categories. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Buckle up, y'all. Winter is here. I think we're going to have a very active February. Lots of snowstorms. We're going to have plenty of more opportunities to talk about severe weather as well. So make sure you're prepared. Don't be scared. Be prepared and subscribe, turn notifications on, like the video and all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.